Huzzah, everyone! It's Elemental Storm, and welcome to Top 5 Reasons to Play. We're looking at the game The Evil Within. The Evil Within is a survival horror that's made by Shinji Mikami. He was one of the original makers on Resident Evil. It's also published by Bethesda, who's done Skyrim, Fallout, Dishonored, you name it, they've done it. And before we get into it, I just want to say thank you guys, by the way, for the support you've given on my first 2 Top 5 videos. I've really enjoyed doing these, and I can definitely see this is going to be a series that's going to stay around for a long time. There'll definitely be more about that coming into the new year, and we'll be seeing a lot more different top 5 styles. But for now, anyway, this is The Evil Within. Let's get into it. So the first one, or number 5 I should say, is level layout. So this game has really got some great levels, from style, from design, just the idea. One thing I love about The Evil Within is there's no hand holding in this game. They really just put you in the level, and the levels always change because the way this game is set up, it's like really like it's a mind mess, let's put it that way. It's just like in one level you could be in this crazy looking mansion, in another level you could end up being in this like mannequin factory, in another level you could be like underground in the cathedral and stuff like that. That's just the way this game works, and it is fantastic the way they do it. I really like how that happens, and the design and the levels are just, they're well done for that. And that's why we get into number 2, traps. Now throughout levels, all the different levels, there are various traps. Spike traps, explosive traps, acid traps, poison cloud traps, tripwires, freaking like stuff you've seen in like the movies of Saw, stuff like that. It's just all these different types of traps, and they're fantastic because on one end they can be a real nuisance or even death to you and stuff like that. On the other end, you can use them against the enemies, which is great. So if you have like these, like what they're called, the haunted, they're like normal guys you usually fight or you try to get away from. If they're coming at you and stuff and you see a trap on the wall, like as you just saw over there, you can shoot it, explode it, and then use that as your own personal benefit, basically, using a trap for yourself against the enemies, which is really cool. And then this area right here, we have the good old, he's called the keeper, but as I call him, box head or safe head, and he's basically going to go ahead and he's going to shut this door behind me, and one of the traps is going to release, and you have to like turn it off in the level and everything like that, and it's just very cool. So here, I love this character. Such a good design on this character, but we'll get more into that in a few seconds. And yep, there we go. So there's the poison cloud, and as you can see, you have a timer that basically you have to shut this stuff off or you die. So it's stuff like that that makes the levels really cool, with these different types of traps and stuff that kind of give almost that Saw type, more of a, I guess, a more new age horror feeling and stuff, compared to the straight out just like serial killers and crazy things. And speaking of crazy things, let's talk about boss fights. Number 3. This game has some amazing boss fights. For one thing, the creatures and designs in this game, someone must have just went into the insane mind of someone and said, how can we make these monsters and creatures like really evil and scary and just like gross and just amazing, to say the least. And for a horror fan like myself, this game is definitely one of my top 10s because I'm absolutely loving it, and I love the design of the monsters. I love the design of the creatures, the bosses, and the boss fights are not your straight out just like, hey, he's got a health bar, let's take that down by shooting him or do this or etc. etc. There's more to it like that. Like in this one right here, you have to turn off these various like pipes and things like that to kill the poison and then get away from him. And then there's like a nice little scene, but I'm not gonna spoil anything. But beyond that, and this is cool because I thought, the first time I did this level, when I first shot him down, I'm like, oh great, I killed him. All right, cool. That should be pretty easy. And then all of a sudden he just comes back up, and when he's bounding at you like that, he's coming like a bat out of hell at you. You can't help but, for the first time playing this game, scream your head off, because that's like back in the day of watching like Halloween or Friday the 13th, when you see Jason or you see Michael Myers just like saying not a word, coming right at you. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, number 4, upgrades. Upgrades in this game are absolutely fantastic. For one, you can upgrade yourself, and you have various things from your health to your stamina to how many matches you can hold, things like that. And then you can upgrade pretty much every weapon you can get your hands on in the game and stuff, from your agony bolts, which all have different features, like from electrifying someone to freezing someone to kind of a flashlight, flash bolt type deal where it like blinds them and stuff. The other big thing I like about it too is I love the design on this kind of like this insane asylum sanctuary area here, where you have to sit in the chair and it kind of like closes down on your head, and these like little needle things go into your brain, and you can kind of like just like as we do here, like there you go, as we just shock the skill into you. Like it was just a very cool method instead of just your usual pick skill and blah blah. Like they actually went really deep into, all right, how can if when you customize yourself, how can we make it look good instead of just picking this ability and stuff. All right, number 5, New Game Plus. So if you're like me and you want the bang for your buck, New Game Plus is an amazing thing because for one thing, you get to go back and you get to replay those chapters you absolutely love. And I mean, who doesn't like doing that? You find a chapter you fell in love with, you're like, oh, I'd love to do that again. The other cool thing about New Game Plus, especially in a survival horror game, there are definitely times in a survival horror game, depending on the difficulty level you play, where you're so ticked off that you go, I'm going to come back for this guy with a bazooka, and I'm going to blow him up, or I'm going to kill this guy. And that's a cool thing about New Game Plus, because you can do that. Now you have, like, all your abilities are all heightened and everything like that. You might even, and the cool thing about New Game Plus, I'm not going to spoil anything, but they do open some secret weapons that you can use, and yeah, it's just that good. All right, so anyway, this is my top 5. I'm Elemental Storm. Huzzah! I'll talk to you guys later.